I was to ask you to draw how you feel today, what would that be?
When we founded to the Village Project, we were founding an agency whose primary program was going to be providing psychotherapeutic services. And what we looked at was the disparities that existed, especially in the African American community, and the myth that black people don't go to therapy. But we also realized that the folks that we were working for, those people who had been historically underserved and unserved by this system, had a myriad of other needs. And while our mainstay program was going to always be therapy, we had kids who were falling through the cracks educationally.
They help you with all your homework, and then they break it down so it's easier to understand. Since I've been coming here, I've been getting like all B's and A's and honor roll. I concentrated more on my work because math is, you do math almost every day. Because I was struggling in math, but now I have a B+.
So it may be 3 school years ago, with funding that we were able to get initially from AT&T, we started an after-school program with 15 kids. Marilyn Shepard gave us 3 classrooms at the Cabrillo Family Resource Center, and we used the Friendship Baptist Church bus to pick up the kids from the different schools where they are and bring them to the site. So the first year we started out, we had 15 kids. The second year we had, I think, almost 25. And this year we had over 40.
Let's get to it.
And we have a group of young people who are tutors, and they work really, really good with the kids. I mean, they're old enough to be kind of be an authority with them, but they're still young enough to also be able to identify with how they are.
I try to explain to them that their life is getting ready to come at them faster than they believe. Because I remember in 4th, 5th grade, we thought that was going to be what it was forever. There's a point in time where I thought 5 years of elementary, I thought I was never gonna get out of there. I was like, this is taking forever. Hey, is it really that necessary? I think I learned it all.
I did too. It's like having 30 kids and they drive you crazy, but at the end of the day you still love them and want to help them out. And they're all very smart, so it's really cool when they learn something and it clicks in their mind and they get it. And
over the years, I've seen how the school system has left kids behind, giving them information so that they pass the test, and then they take kids that have behavior issues, throw them in special ed classes when really they just need like more attention.
What did we say about the word hate?
I mean, that's all we do. We give them the attention that they need so they get better grades, they can learn how to read and do their math.
Hate's a bad word. You can strongly dislike somebody, but you cannot hate somebody.
You can say I.
It's more or less what we're trying to teach these kids is that it's your life and you have to be responsible for it, and it starts at school.
Like one thing we do tutoring is whenever kids are like, oh, I need help, we kind of want them to be like, well, did you read the directions on the assignment first? Like 9 times out of 10, they didn't even read the directions yet. Everybody's not gonna always have a tutor for the rest of their life. So we kind of want them to get their work done by themselves and only ask us for help when they really, really need it. Once they sit down and read the directions, then they can figure out for themselves how to do the problem, because stuff's moving around in their mind where they're starting to figure out how to do their homework.
What's great about this program is everyone's just so nice, and they help you sit down and actually focus on homework, because I have a problem with my attention span and actually focusing on it.
Because of my dyslexia, I'm very unorganized, and I didn't really want to be here at first. But then once you just get into the program and you get into the hang of things and people are helping you and your grades are coming up, it's great.
But you have to say one thing interesting that you guys learned today.
Can I go first?
We don't just work with them around helping them with their homework and learning, but we find it important that their behaviors get addressed.
10 o'clock.
And so we have a group. Some people would call it group counseling or whatever.
Go ahead, Lily. You're next.
Yay. My day was good and interesting.
Kids will stand up and say, this is what my day was like. And the first thing they have to do is to talk about the things that went well.
My day was good.
The good part of your day, what made that good? What did you do to make that a good day? And then the kids have to think. It didn't just fall out of the sky. I did things. Okay, and so then what didn't go well? And then they say, well, you know, I smarted off with my teacher. I did this, that, and the other. I got in trouble, blah, blah.
Brian, what did you learn today?
And so in order for you to have a whole good day, what could you have done differently? See, and it's putting it on them.
All right, well, that's cool. So you learned how to get your work done? See your face?
Because of the applause and the recognition, you had these kids who never used to speak were getting up. They're coming there because of the camaraderie that's developed between all of them.
You can't tell us what you learned in school today?
No.
Just one thing?
No.
So you're gonna be under your desk all day?
I think even though some kids don't like participating in group, it's a good thing for them to express what they did in school that day. Because they might not even talk about school, they'll talk about kids bullying them or like problems they're having with other students at their individual schools. And so we can kind of see like what's really going on with them outside of just academics.
All right, Miss Isabel.
What I learned
The hardest thing for me to learn here is, well, how to get along with kids, because my whole life I've always been bullied. Whenever it was time for recess, I would just walk around because I had no one to play with. When I came here, I didn't have to be alone anymore. I found friendship.
People coming together, no matter what their age is, but coming together who recognize that they have things in common and who can give each other support is essential. They know they're not alone. They look across the table or across the room or next to them, chair next to them, see themselves.
We focused on those kids that people were having trouble dealing with. Sometimes they have attitudes, and the attitudes precede them into the room. Some of them have been suspended many times. Basically, if they're being suspended a lot and their behaviors are atrocious, they also weren't learning. We are able to have them in a much smaller setting. And we made sure that teachers, parents, the staff were always in communication with each other. And sometimes the kids would come in and say, well, you know, I don't really have any homework today. And say, well, that's real interesting because we just got through talking with your teacher.
Village Project, it's like a team, like helpful. They teach you to respect each other and treat people how you would want to be treated.
We learn respect and how to use proper language, and you say thank you and please. My grandma and my mom say, wow.
For a lot of these youngsters, they've somehow gotten the message, and maybe people didn't tell them, but they got the message that they were done and that they couldn't learn. And then when they start to learn, it's like, oh.
Children of any group that see themselves having limited possibilities or no possibility, who have had dreams that were not met and whose parents had dreams that weren't met and whose grandparents had dreams that weren't met, grow up in a state of hopelessness.
If your self-confidence level is low on a test, you're not gonna do your best because hey, what the heck anyway? I'm not gonna pass it, I'm not gonna do it, you know, nobody tells me I can, or nobody puts any belief in me.
I have one of the kids, anytime she's like, I don't get it, I'm stupid, I have her repeat, I am highly intelligent. And she'll repeat it, and I'll make her yell it.
And when these kids get their first A and B, you know, I mean, they come flying into the program, showing people.
Some days you might not even realize you're making an impact, and some days the kids kind of drive you crazy. But at the end of the day, like when you go home and think about everything that you're doing when you come here, you're really making a difference in some of these kids' lives.
You know, and we asked them, so it's kind of cool being smart, ain't it?
Hi, Micah. Thank you for the birthday cake.